Folger Shakespeare Library, a monumental block-long structure clad in white Georgia marble, is a cultural as well as an architectural landmark. With quotes and scenes from Shakespeare's plays carved on its East Capitol Street facade, the building is a memorial for the ages to the greatest literary artist of the English language, and a major contribution to the monumental architecture of the nation's capital. Within it houses a world-class collection of resources devoted to Shakespeare's life and work.
So the building has a classical exterior that ties in really well with the rest of Capitol Hill. So really when you're walking around between the Library of Congress, Capitol Building, and the Supreme Court, the Folger really blends right in. It does not stand out. It isn't really until you get inside the building and you start to see the Elizabethan interiors that you realize this is really a very different place from every place else on Capitol Hill.
Completed in 1932, the building's Art Moderne exterior and Elizabethan-themed interior were designed by Paul Philippe Cray in consultation with Alexander B. Trowbridge. A reading room addition designed by Warren Cox of Hartman Cox Architects in 1983 is an award-winning example of Washington postmodernism. Its original exterior had been listed in the National Register of Historic Places since 1969 and in the DC Inventory of Historic Sites since its inception. However, after 90 years, this acclaimed landmark was in need of an exterior rehabilitation. This recently completed project addressed such issues as a band of copper staining on the building's upper perimeter. This was traced to corroded lead-coated copper flashing on the upper ledge of the structure. This material was removed and replaced with marble canted to help the building shed water. Then, extensive testing helped determine an optimally sequenced cleaning procedure to achieve the best results. Using a combination of microabrasives, misting, and a poultice, the rehabilitation team was able to lift the stain from the exterior facade while minimizing water infiltration and chemical application in the process.
So definitely the biggest challenge was the sequence of work. So what the right process was misting intermittently for a couple hours, then microabrasives in order to get the surface dirt off, and then poultice. And it was only in that proper sequence that you could lift the stain.
The building's 9 bas-relief sculptures depicting scenes from Shakespeare's plays were also cleaned, and the friable marble was consolidated to improve its longevity. The project also revealed corrosion in the structural steel used at the shelf angles of the building. Probing with sounding and a picometer determined which sections of steel needed to be replaced and enabled the structure to be stabilized through a minimally invasive process.
If we took a stone unit out and we could see the relieving angle was in really bad shape, one thing we could do is clean it and then paint it again and kind of get it back to a good condition. But to be able to get the underside of the angle, we would have to take out another stone unit to be able to do that. And we really were trying to minimize the number of stone units that we were taking out, because every time a stone was removed, there was a risk of damaging it. And so we didn't want to just do that willy-nilly. And so we did ultimately recommend a lot of replacement of those relieving angles.
The marble of the Folger Shakespeare Library is now again as lustrous as it was 90 years ago.
My take on preservation is that the sense of place that these buildings represent matter. And to have that palpable connection with the past is profound.
Through the care and skill of this rehabilitation, the library building fittingly reflects the eternality of Shakespeare's works.